I'll give you guys another bad Joe. Let's get into some TNA news and some miscellaneous, some light news, as we call it. Sam Roberts asked Lyra Valkyria about the TNA partnership with WWE and if there's anyone she's looked at that she might want to wrestle. And she says, yeah, Danny Luna. She's incredible. Give me Danny Luna. I'd love to fight her. So we have Trish Stratus training with Jody Threat, and then her partner, Danny Luna, is being called out by Lyra, folks. So don't be shocked if we see a little WWE tag champs versus TNA tag champs as far as knockouts go somewhere down the line or something like that. TNA wrestling stars will be flooding the media landscape Thursday to preview this week's flagship weekly TV show, recap recent shows in Texas, and preview the Feb 20 to 21 live events in Orlando, Florida. TNA Impact airs Thursday, whatever. So they're doing live events in Florida is the big announcement, which again, expect there to be TNA crossovers. The tickets are on sale now for TNA Sacrifice in El Paso, Texas, Tegsby in St. Joseph as well. And we just got Phantom Bookmark removed. But yeah, just make sure you guys, if you're in Texas and LA and coming up, you go to and Orlando, Florida, you guys go to these TNA shows. We want to see them grow. We want to see them get big. And we want to see AEW go on their back feet, so they have to compete and they have to do something of note. You know what I mean? So Mance Warner on the Not Sam Roberts podcast. I love Mance Warner. Now, you guys know the song Two Bad Bitches, One Hot Track. And Steph DeLander. I'm a huge Steph DeLander fan. She manages and semi-teams with Chelsea Green before, but like manages she teamed with Indy Hartwell in NXT, but she manages Cardona on the Indies. And then she did her thing with PCO. She hurt her neck. But Mance Warner, and he says it. I just follow him on Twitter, @Mance Warner. He's hilarious because he just keeps it real. Like, he's not trying to be funny. He's just one of these stone cold guys. What? You know, he's like, I just want to kick ass, drink a beer, and get paid, you know? And so this is Steph DeLander's IRL husband to be. Like, these two are going to get married. They're in love like doves, right? And so, yeah, he's on Not Sam. He was the former, I want to say, GCW champion, perhaps even the HOG champion at one point. He's known on the indies, okay? He's a name on the indies. Now he's in TNA. I love it, and let's hear what he's got to say.
For me, it's a thing of I've done everything, in my opinion, on the indies that I could do. I've conquered GCW. I've beat everyone there is to beat on the indies. And like I said earlier, it's about goals. So my next goal is, who the hell do I want to fight? There's people out there, you got to level up. Do I want to fight people at TNA? You got the Hardy Boys. Manser against the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt. You got Manser against Joe Hendry. Manser against Nick Nemeth. You got people at WWE. Manser is CM Punk. You give me a mic and we could just talk. There's people out there that I want to test myself against. I just want people up get paid.
I just want to people up get paid. And he was in AEW for like a split second. I think Moxley had like a match against him or something like that. And he was there for like a hair. The crowd popped for him, man. And I don't know if they'd let him go off on the mic or if he's the WWE type per se. But I guarantee he could have got a job in AEW if he really wanted one, you know? So Chelsea Green, via Busted Open Radio today, said that she's been texting Tommy Dreamer to try and come to TNA, and everything's glitching out on my end. It's not good.
How are you?
So good. I'm actually so happy Tommy's here too.
Which one's playing?
Because I have been sending him numerous texts trying to get on TNA. Now he's in front of me. He's got to answer me.
Go ahead.
Respond to you a text about when I was in your state of Vancouver. Maybe did you change your number?
What do you think? Maybe me versus Masha? Winner takes all?
If you like it.
Everyone wants Masha so badly. Pause. But like, for real, they want to wrestle her. She's just such a good wrestler.
That's a little above my pay grade.
I love it.
I feel like I am Miss America. Lady Liberty.
As your United States champion. Winner take all. That might be we have to have negotiations on that one.
How are we talking with a full band in the background?
Because you're here. You're a lady.
So TNA management reportedly cut costs as they believe several talents signed by Scott D'Amore were overpaid. Yeah, I think some of his buddies had jobs, that they didn't want to keep him around. Here's Joe Hendry in the studio with Ariel Helwani. It's just cool to see. He also did call out John Cena during this interview. I think it just phantom unbookmarked, which is very unfortunate. Let's play this though and see if we can't.
I want to we can't get enough of the music here. We can't get enough of the song. We keep singing it. My kids keep singing. Look at this. There it is.
Where's a good spot to put this?
Oh, look at that. Let's see camera 3.
Jesus Christ, keeps pausing when I go back to.
Joe,
This
you're the
was
man.
just the intro.
Thank you, my
for
friend.
coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I have to say, I reached out to you yesterday and you said, "Oh, can I come in studio?" And I was like, "Well, are you going to be in New York?" You had
I
no
am now.
plan. Yes,
Yeah.
you are. You had no plans of being in New York.
I did not. I just think, look, there's certain interviews you got to do in person,
I
right?
appreciate
And
that.
I'm very much. I was actually supposed to be on the Jericho Cruise.
I saw this on the internet.
So, yo, Joe Hendry ducked out of the Jericho Cruise. Y'all could hear that, right? He ducked out of the Jericho Cruise to do Ariel Helwani. Now, he gives it an explanation, but we covered the goddamn Jericho Cruise. There's no way he's telling the truth. We know why he ducked out.
Yes, what happened was I was supposed to go straight from the Rumble to the cruise. I go from the Rumble back to the hotel, pick up my things. It turns out if you fly into the Dominican Republic, because that's where I was meeting them, rather than sailing, you need an extra visa thing,
no.
and we didn't have that. So we didn't know about it. It's unfortunate. We'll try to do it again next year. So couldn't do that, but I kind
So, Indy Hartwell is officially a free agent. Her new entrance music by Downstate drops on February 14th. So, she already hits up Downstate to get her music cracking, which is hilarious. And she's already looking at TNA and Masha Slamovich as a potential opponent. Let's see what she tells Busted Open here as the volume's turned all the way down.
I don't want to just be another girl on the roster. I want to be the girl.
There we go.
I love it. I love it. All right, dream matches. Is there, now that you're out on your own, you're not part of W, is there anybody that you want to have a match with now that you're part indie, excuse the pun, part of the indies?
Honestly, I haven't done the whole, write the list of people that you want to work. I feel like a lot of people do that, but that's not really me. I think who I want to wrestle will just coincide with what my goals are. And like I said, I don't want to be a girl on the roster. I don't want to be a knockout. I want to be the knockout.
I don't want to be. I don't want. No.
So Masha Slamovich is the knockouts champion. Put her number 1.
Damn, here we go.
I love it. Go right after
on
number
board.
1. I love that. I love that. And then I also know that coming up in March, you got.
I don't want to just be in.
Yeah, so that's the right mentality to have if you're Indy Hartwell. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for TNA news as we do the damn thing. And Scott Demore says business is about to pick up. Scrolling down to okay, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Maple Leaf Pro is bringing the Maple Leaf back to Toronto and more specifically back to the former Maple Leaf Gardens on May 11. Okay, so MLP is making its Toronto debut. That's going to be awesome. And also he put out a tweet, Scott Demore did, it got phantom bookmarked, but he's like, oh, we're back in business with the Good Brothers. So expect Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson to at least do a spot over there or just work limited dates over there. Dr. Chris Featherstone says he was informed that Tessa Blanchard had many problems in CMLL and yelled at a few girls in the locker room, which led to meetings with the whole women's roster and the boss because of all the drama. So that's fairly recently. And she's like, oh, I apologize. But people are like, hell no. Dark Side of the Ring returns, which I was just watching Dark Side of the Cage. I watched every episode of that. Which is like the MMA version of it. And they officially return for a 6th season on March 25th here. They are doing Hell in a Cell, obviously the Mick Foley one, Big Van Vader, Tony Atlas, Ludwig Borga, Billy Jack Haynes, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Superstar Billy Graham, Daphne, the original Sheik, and Muhammad Hassan. So a great lineup again. These seasons, all of these are great. I'm glad that these exist, but they'll never stack up to like the OG ones. You know what I mean? Season 1, 2, 3, like those were cooking, but I think the Jericho Cruise in AEW will eventually be one, like the many fights behind the scenes of AEW. Nixon Newell, Tegan Knox is officially a free agent. Signer TNA. I'm down with that. Here we go. Speaking of women's tag teams, Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee, the Iconics or the Inspiration, as they called themselves in TNA. They are making for Prestige Wrestling at Nothing to Lose in Vegas WrestleMania weekend. They're doing a meet and greet. And are they wrestling? They're in-ring return, yeah, as a tag team. So I'm not saying bring them in, but if you need help with your women's tag division, WWE, God damn it, TNA Knockouts have had one for a long time. Call up Scott D'Amore. Here's Velveteen Dream. So he shows up at an indie with a shirt of everyone in wrestling's mugshots: Jericho, Flair, Andre, Lesnar, himself. I'm not sure who that is up there. Liv Morgan, I think, is on there. Jeff Hardy. Is that Roman Reigns? Uso, Eddie, Vince, Donald Trump, Booker T, right? Is that Lyra Valkyria? I don't know. Scott Hall, right? And then he's got a new dye job and new gear, and he's like guilty by association. So I give him credit, but this is like he's a weird dude, and I don't know. From all accounts, people don't really like him like that. And this is just a weird gimmick to try and get over, and they're going to book him. But so Joey Janela gets in this big fight, right, with this guy, Dylan Bostic, I guess. And it's a fight. Megan Bain's in the background. Tables get thrown at. I quote tweeted, I'm like, it's sending me how nobody knows how to fight. So Janela and this guy are beefing behind the scenes, right? And this guy says, or Joey Janela DMs this guy or whatever, and is like, you're a pussy, dude, on site. I'm gonna blast you, but you don't get booked anywhere, so I'll never see you, unfortunately. So he's like, it's on site, I'm gonna fight you, and right? So then he gets fought. Like, there's a video of it in wrestling for YouTube's sake, right? This is purely wrestling. But where's the video? I'm sure Ringside News has it pulled up, unless it's deleted. So I'm on their site. I'm just looking for it quickly because I thought I had the video too. But yeah, they may have pulled it down, which is unfortunate. But God damn it. I thought I had the fight bookmarked. No, it seems like it's gone here. We'll find it. Yeah. Oh, so here's Janela responding to it. I thought he responded to the video. They must have pulled it all down. And he's like, I'm going to nip this in the butt. There's a video circulating of me getting ambushed at my table while I was meeting fans after the show tonight. It stems from him airing his grievances about his experience doing AEW extra work the day after Brody Lee's death that a lot of us were very upset about. I took to Twitter because I thought it was disgusting, and we went back and forth. Tonight's 4 years later, he flipped me and Megan's gimmick table over to confront me. We got into a scuffle, which resulted in GCW crew thinking I was getting attacked by a deranged fan, and Megan thinking it was some weird Joey Janela skit. Yeah, you can tell she doesn't know what to think when it's happening. She's just like, is this real or what? For someone that claims to have boxing training, amazingly not one punch landed, and he was eventually carried out like a crying baby by Kelvin Tankman. Sorry to all the fans that had to witness that. It was an extremely embarrassing situation, and sorry to all the Indianapolis crew that wanted to put on a great weekend of independent wrestling for the city. Sorry if I contribute to any of the unneeded drama. And he's big for doing that, because a lot of people were like, Joey Janela talked and gets knocked out. The video is basically like the table gets flipped, and then Joey's like, oh, he like picks up a chair and throws it at the guy, but it kind of gets blocked. And then the guy throws like the punch ever. It lands on Janela. And then they just like hug each other up and start like wrestling, but zero jujitsu, like zero grappling knowledge. You know, they're just like hugging each other, rolling around. And like Megan Bain's standing there meeting fans. And she's like, is this real? You could just tell she's confused. And yeah, it's just all around a funny video. But because it's a real fight, I'm sure it's been pulled down, and because it should be in here. But anyways, yeah, he called the dude out and he got hit for it. Yeah, so Joey responds. We got his response. Here's Paul Walter Hauser, aka Stingray, who was DMing, had a whole meltdown on Conan in his DMs about like, dude, I know I'm this fat guy, but look at Vader. Like, listen, man, I've won all these things, but like, I definitely bring more eyeballs to wrestling, and I know you guys are critical of me, and I like Paul Walter Hauser as an actor and everything, but here's him at Revolver Square just doing like crazy death match.
Atop that door,
or just like wrestling. But yeah, I get why people laugh at this, you know. And he's bulking up right now because he's playing Chris Farley in a biopic, and so he's like real extra chubby than he normally is too. So I don't know why you take the match. I guess he's trying to get fat and be athletic, because Chris Farley would like cartwheel around it.
Up top on this stage, gonna get a running start perhaps. Oh, Swanton!
Okay, that wasn't a swanton. That was a barrel roll, or like a senton, if you will, and it was through a door, and this guy wins TV awards. And Emerge Wrestling, due to legal circumstances outside of Emerge Wrestling, management has vacated the Emerge Championship. We will crown a new Emerge champion this Saturday night at Emerge 85 Love and War. So this is the title that this guy had, I think, and then they stripped him for like jumping Joey Janela. You know what I mean? Even though Joey challenged him on site. Good, pal. So here is Bam Margera, Johnny Nitro, Darby Allin, and thank God they got Bam Margera here with DDP, because he was flying off his rocker, flying off the Esfinge. He's flying off his rocker, and so he's getting healthy and in shape with DDP, and thank God for that. We have Samantha Irvin, who post some thirst traps, thirst casts. Now, here's the thing. Remember when she's like, I had a goal. So her goal was to drop some thirst traps to get to a certain amount of followers and impressions and all of that. Then when she quit WWE, I'm sorry, she greatly fell off. And then some photo dropped of her in like this kind of sexy outfit. It's from behind. It looks like it's in a hotel room or some estate, kind of like this. And people were like, oh, is she doing OF and like that? And again, your boy Phil don't miss. I was the only one. I was like, dude, it's a music video, obviously. And because I just knew it was a music video, I'll just leave it at that. So, but there's no hype. Like, her new song comes out, no hype. No one gives a I didn't even want to play it on this show. Not to diss or anything, but listen, there's a reason why she is exceptional in pro wrestling, but she, in American Idol and all that she was in, America's Got Talent, there's a reason why she didn't become like the next big singer. Even though she was on, I think she did The Voice too or some. There's a reason why doing that field of entertainment wasn't what she blew up in, and it was wrestling. And it's not to say she can't sing or anything. She's incredibly talented, but there's a million ladies who can sing. There's like 3 people who are remotely, not even actually anymore. There's like 2 people that you could say get close to Irvin's level of when she was ring announcing. And I think we'll see her back as a ring announcer, because her management is going to go over cringe, or maybe she's a valet, whatever. But she posts some thirst trap. Hello, right? She posts another one because I'm telling you, the traction's down. Like, people don't care. The music industry's so unforgiving. You stand out in wrestling. Why wouldn't you stay what you stand out in? Why go down a road? Hey, I used to work in entertainment fields too that I wasn't very standoutish in. So I found my lane, and then I started YouTubing on the side, and then I'm very standoutish in YouTube. So I go, let me just do this more and more and more. Like, come on. And I'm not saying I'm smarter. Like, I get it. Tony's going to pay you $1 billion or whatever. But yeah, it's just no one's given them. I think she really up, and I quote tweeted this, and I don't care. There's people mad under my replies. Oh, she a woman. No, shut up. Thirsty and thirstcast here all the time. What it is that the song didn't grab the attention. The coming soon post didn't grab the attention. The going dark on Twitter after saying, oh, I had this goal in mind. Now the impressions are way down. She's like, what the happened? And it's that you and Ricochet had meltdowns on X, and then you're getting the impressions way up with, because the thang's thangin', and you're a gorgeous woman and you're severely talented. But I'm sorry, like, she's going to show up in AEW. It's expected. It's not going to help Ricochet whatsoever. Maybe it'll make people boo him more because they don't like her and stuff. And then, you play it heel, but Tony's dumb and he's going to think everyone's going to cheer her. And the only way they're going to do that is if she's doing like ring announcing, because no one wants to see Ricochet with like a hot chick. You got to have the heel with the hot chick and everything. So, and yes, hot chick, we word it like that because that's the idea. That's the trigger there, is that. The fact they haven't put Jungle Boy with Anna Jay, we can criticize that ad nauseum. So it would make sense if they stay heel, but I think Tony would think that she's going to get her baby face pop and all that. So I don't know, just bass backwards, as they say, moving along. So Josh Alexander reveals that he was once supposed to appear in NXT as part of the crossover. So I was calling it out. It never materialized. I thought they were teasing it, and I thought it was inevitable. It never materialized. He explains why it was supposed to happen. Just didn't go down. So he says there was one certain situation where I was supposed to go and it did not happen. There were maybe 2 other situations there where I was asked to go and it got shut down for whatever reason. That was no hard feelings on my end. I have options on the table, so there are no hard feelings. I should have put this in TNA news, but he is going to be a free agent after his next match or whatever. And he goes, whether it was the North reunited for one night only or if I went one-on-one with Ethan Page in some capacity just because of all the history we have together. Yeah, I think the North should reunite. They should have did it when Ethan was the NXT champ. He was the TNA champ. They do like the heel team up. We'll just team up because like we are homies and we're both heels on opposite shows and we're both world champs or whatever. So all this other stuff, we're just in it for ourselves. That would have been cool. So Samantha Irvin, to lend to what I was speaking to a minute ago to back it up, pun intended, she says it's a guarantee that she will return to wrestling in the future. Right? So especially more now than ever. Because why? Because of the I pointed out, right? The music ain't, why are you going to pop in music? Because you had a following in wrestling? Like, that's not how it works. She goes, that's a guarantee. My wrestling career has barely even begun. I think it would be an absolute waste of everything that I've done so far to not continue the story. I got to finish my story. Okay. Now I want to see creatively what else I can do. Hopefully when I come back to wrestling, I'll bring even more value than I did before. She's going to be like a valet or something. I don't know. That's terrible, man. She really up by going at the fans too, you know, like look at Cedric Alexander. He's just happy he got released and he's sort of thanking him for his time. Right. So Perry Saturn, Maven dropped a video where he's like, here's a wrestler that hated me. He hated me when I came in the business. Here, I'm going to get Matt Hardy's response too, because I think it unbookmarked. Matt Hardy calls Perry Saturn out for lying here. Maven, this video is titled like, I confronted a wrestler who didn't want me in the business or whatever. And Saturn was even like, dude, it's not my fault you couldn't take it. I was just the old vet. But yeah, it's like
Matt Hardy and I used to beat him up every night. So bad he complained to Vince.
Really?
And then
just burying everybody. So Matt Hardy responds to this. I have it right here. Let's share this tab. And Matt Hardy says, this is abjectly false. I never legitimately complained about anything during my career, including working with snug workers, my booking, or working with people I don't see eye to eye with. People who actually know me and my character absolutely know these. I've certainly never complained to Vince about anything, LOL. I also never worked with Perry for 6 months either. I've worked with him probably a couple dozen times over my entire career, mainly in Radicals tag matches. I will admit that when asked the question of who's the most difficult person I've ever had to work with, I've stated Saturn. That's the truth. Upon coming to WWE, he tried to take over and dictate what Jeff and I would do whenever he worked with us. I pushed back and made it clear we're the Hardy Boys. We have to do Hardy Boys things in our matches. It felt to me he was trying to compensate for being part of a group that consisted of the incredible talents Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, and Dean Malenko. Damn. I'm very disappointed in Perry for manufacturing this story. I honestly feel sorry for him. I know he's been through a really difficult journey in the last few years of his life. I wish him all the best and hope he can find happiness and remain healthy. Life's too short to harbor anger and resentment, so that's something I never do in my advanced age. It is also our responsibility to defend ourselves if someone falsely tries to paint us in a negative light. That's why I wanted to set the record straight with the response. I'm here to set the example that it can be done with grace without any name calling. But next time, I'll delete you. Yes. Perry fibbing. Why the you lying? No, for real. He get like shot in the neck and stuff, right? I mean, he could have. There's maybe he's thinking about someone else even, and he's mixing up guys. Ricky Starks has defeated Kenta to become the new Defy World Champion at Defy 100. Shout out Ricky Starks. Round of applause, Jack. So the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, bud, would like to take this time to remember the inductee who would have turned 70 years old today. In 2022, he was inducted. It would have been his 70th birthday. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Jim the Anvil.